Hey everyone,
It's Chad Church,
and Nikolai Phelan.
and we are excited to bring to you our brand new podcast,
Hullabaloo. Cross-generational,
media consumption podcast
where two gay men
from different generations
watch movies,
read books
listen to music, and more,
to bridge GenX.
and Gen Z. I thought that was pretty good.
Let's do another take. Church, and this is
A hullabaloo, and I'm Nikolai Phelan, and this is a really fun and exciting episode because it is kind of like our political episode, but through the lens of two comedic and satirical pieces of media. So
one
this
of
week,
which you convinced me to take on, right? Like
yes,
my
and you're
old
the
app
other. Did you like it? By the way, did you like the SNL?
was the SNL wasn't the one that we'll get into it, but the
Yeah,
SNL wasn't the one that I was talking about. It was the Simpsons.
The Simpsons.
Yeah, because SNL, dude, you weren't even a thought in your mother's eye when I was watching SNL when it was Saturday Night Live, and that I feel like those were the days, but we can
I
do that later.
think the days of. I think SNL has had its those were the days a multitude of times. Like that's the thing about it, is it
I
reinvents
could be in
itself.
agreement with that. Yeah.
You
I
know,
can.
it does. And you know what I will say? And people are all saying it. So the mom, so okay, so just to lay out the groundwork. So we watched two pieces of media this week, which is cool because I like that it's a little bit of a shorter form. It's like a new thing for us. This is fun. So we watched Mr. Lisa Goes to Washington, which is a season 3 Simpsons episode from the 90s about corruption in Washington. And we watched, I think it's called
It's the
Mother's
mom.
Apology. Mom Apology, I
Um,
think is what it's called, SNL.
yeah.
I think it's called Mom Apology. Mom Confession. Okay, so Mom Confession, SNL skit, which was from the most recent week of SNL. So super, super recent, which is about a conservative mother who is recognizing that there's some things wrong with Trump.
And the Mr. Lisa Goes to Washington episode from '91 is more about how Lisa she wins this essay contest and gets to go to Washington because it's such a wonderful essay, and she ends up changing her mind from what she learns when she's in Washington.
Yeah, and there's the thing about certain old, so I loved what's interesting for because for anybody, I guess the pod will need to know this. I have a very deep, deep, deep Simpsons obsession. I pathologically have been rewatching The Simpsons for many years of my life because it was when I was young, I think it imprinted on me because I used to secretly watch it as a kid. So I had a TV in my room, which was great for me. Probably wouldn't give my kid a TV in the room, but maybe I would just because I was like, it didn't hurt me. I turned out fine.
Wait.
But I used to watch channels that I wasn't allowed to, and I would put the volume down really low. And at 9:30, they would do King of the Hill, and then at 10 to 10:30, it was The Simpsons, and then from 10:30 to 11, it was South Park. And it was like the best run of television ever. It was incredible TV. And years later, I stand by it because I just loved The Simpsons. And South Park to me was so painfully funny. But The Simpsons I liked because it was funny, but it also had heart. And I think the Simpsons, especially in the early seasons, there were a lot of these episodes that were just they're kind of emotional. They're sensitive. It was a family. There was this understanding about family and love. And that existed all the way probably until season 9, and then it started to kind of become a caricature of itself, and then it reinvented itself, etc. But for me, I just watched the first 9.
That's funny. And my differing opinion is that, and I know, or I assume this to really truly be an age thing. For me growing up, were, Scooby Doo, Top Cat, which was badass, and the Top Cat was straight up, and
Let
then
me look up Top Cat. Top Cat.
oh, dude, Top Cat, he's got his little crew of
I
dudes,
remember
and
Top Cat. I remember Top Cat.
yeah, yeah,
He
Top
was
Cat was
great.
badass,
Did you like the
and
Pink Panther?
no, no, that
You
wasn't my thing.
didn't?
No,
Okay,
no, not at
that's
all.
fair.
But, I mean, there was the Cosby, Fat Albert, but
I
these
remember
were
Fat
all
Albert.
very much cartoons, and
Yeah.
and they had a different, um, I guess, kind of the way you would look at a cartoon from a television show to, say, even claymation. My other big thrill was in the mornings, on Saturday or Sunday mornings, the Church of Latter-day Saints, the Lutherans had, Mormons, the Lutherans, at any rate, they had a show, a claymation show, David and Goliath. But these were very specific, different media. And so the cartoons, watching the cartoons at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock on Saturday morning until 10 or 11 was cartoon time.
Yeah.
And there was
Yeah.
no real mix between these two genres. And then
Right.
additionally, when you come up with the Simpsons or the South Park, I mean, to me, this is more of it's adult content put into, a child's format, for lack of better phrasing.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So I think we see these two things very differently. I remember when you're like, "Oh, I love The Simpsons. I love The Simpsons," and I was like, "Oh, well, all right," you know. But when you mentioned it initially, I was like, I've got to open myself up to, if I'm doing the job here, to Nico's world as well, and because your world represents a bunch of other people's worlds and vice versa
Right.
here,
It's totally true. Totally true. Well, I love Hanna-Barbera cartoons. I will say this
Oh,
though, I am cartoon biased. I don't like regular TV shows. I only like the Golden Girls. This is where I have like truly believe I am on the spectrum when it comes to like something autistic there, because I legitimately you could drag me kicking and screaming, and I would be like, no, 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 I'm gonna rewatch Futurama. No, 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 I'm gonna rewatch my first 9 seasons of The Simpsons. It's like a return to self. But what's interesting is I think because my relationship to The Simpsons is almost like The Simpsons is some form of entity that has been a friend to me. I learned calculus with The Simpsons. I learned Spanish with The Simpsons. The Simpsons were when I was like in so many iterations. That show would appear in my life and accompany me. When I was homeless, right? When I was in the homeless shelter, how I fell asleep was I would listen to one specific episode, season 6, episode 6, called Homer the Clown, because it was one of my favorites. It's super funny, but I would fall asleep to it. And so it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I almost don't, compared to other sources of media where I am very protective, it's almost like it's not media to me. So people are like, I don't like it. My stepmom hated it. She's like, I don't like that show. But she was she was a boomer. She was in the 60s. And she had the same kind of belief, which was like, cartoons are cartoons. Cartoons are for kids. And I definitely see that. And I I think that it's, for me, what I think is interesting about the cartoon medium is comedically, it expands the range of the type of humor that can be expressed. It's in the way that improv or, improv versus stand up, like what is possible expands in a cartoon world versus in the regular world. I don't like a lot of comedic, like I like TV shows. I think that they have to have their format for their jokes. If it's like a regular, like, 30 Rock. I loved Arrested Development because that was like callback structure in a television show. So that's quite elegant. And so the elegance of being able to continually achieve that is very, very impressive. So it would win me over. But like Modern Family, I felt like is very funny show, but it was always about misunderstandings. You kind of like,
Mhm.
oh, it's always a misunderstanding. Whereas The Simpsons, I think, is very interesting from comedic writing because they did a tag structure. So they were the people who wrote the show, most of them went to Harvard,
Mhm.
they were writing in the newspapers together. And so when it became time to do the show, they were on the Tracy Ullman show. And Tracy hated The Simpsons. She hated it. They said she treated them horribly. She's like this stupid fucking cartoon. Fuck this fucking cartoon. And her nastiness did not pay off because that little teeny bumper, it was a bumper on her own show. Like everybody kept tuning in for fucking 30 seconds to see I go, this is why I believe we must always check ourselves. Never ever let your ego get you because the universe will get your ass, girl. That is,
See, I know, and Tracy Ullman, come on, like now that's somebody I could get on with. Like to
I
me,
like
I
Tracy, but she was nasty. Like she was nasty to them and she was bitter.
mhm,
And I think that's
mhm.
a disappointment because she's so cool and she's so funny that you're like, get the smudge off your record, girl. Get
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
winning train, go, damn, I was jealous. Oops. This is awesome. What an amazing show. It's like, I wish I could have
But
seen it then.
she still might just not have liked it. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing. Like, it just doesn't do it for her.
No, it's not. You've got to, no, no, no. There's no way. That's not what it
I'm
is.
telling you, some shit
It's a
just
different,
doesn't.
no, it's
Like,
not. She
okay,
doesn't.
Here's one for you. So everybody was always like, Friends. Oh my God, Friends. It
I
was so
hate
funny. And
Friends.
this one did this
It's
and that.
don't, you can't get me
And
started on Friends because
Seinfeld is another one, Like
I think
there's just
Seinfeld
some
was funny sometimes.
I
Seinfeld
was
had
like,
some really funny moments, but Friends I
hmm,
think is bad. I never found Friends to be funny. I think it was sexy people. There's a bunch of white sexy people that are all like, there's so much sexual tension. She's like, oh, Monica. Oh, Monica. And what's Rachel? Rachel. And Phoebe was basically asexual. I don't even know what she was, but
Joey was the
it was
dumb slut.
he was the
Right.
dumb hoe, yeah. It's like everybody just wanted to fuck them, and it was just like a place to put your erotic energy and be able to kind of laugh it off. I think. I don't think it's a
Is
bad
that,
show. I don't want to diss it.
I'm not,
I
no, I mean,
no, no, I'm not saying you are. I'm saying I just so it doesn't people don't come back and go, you hate Friends. For me, I think people laugh for different reasons. Like there are different reasons why people laugh.
this is
And
the route I'm going down.
the reason that I think people would laugh at Friends is they're likable. They love them. People will laugh as an expression of love. So if people really like you, like if you're like really like wonderful or loving or just, a wonderful energy, then and people adore you, they want to laugh, you know? Then there's a different kind of laugh where you're almost like you're not likable, but you're so damn funny that you win them over because they're kind of like trying to hold it in. But then when you get the laugh, it's like, you know, they have to throw the laugh is bigger because you've taken it out of their hands. You know, you ripped it from their body.
See, well,
But
and I'm feeling like with Tracy Ullman, it may, yeah, I guess you're saying she was really not very nice about it, right?
I think it was
But
hard. It was probably ego. I think it was just from what I understand from the people who were there that were like have expressed it. Because I read a few books about it, like Simpsons history books, and people who were there and they were like, we loved her. We were excited to be on this show. She was awful. She was really awful. And she was really bitter because this shit, and it's like, it kind of Greek in a way is it seems like she gave them the spot, expected it to fail, wanted it to, or when it started to be a success, it was outside of the scope of what she was prepared to give, which is what I think happens in Hollywood sometimes is stars rise, they float to the top. It's not there. It's like physics, you know, it's like the helium lifts the balloon. Nobody's doing anything. It's just life. And so
yeah.
a thing starts to rise and she goes, I want to be gravity. And it's like, bitch, you're not. And you gotta just, it's hard. That's the hardest thing I think about the concept of Hollywood and stuff is that the moment you're even in the room, you're in that room watching maybe lots of people get the thing you want and having to either wait your turn or wonder if it will ever be you, or if you already have the thing, start to feel it sliding through your fingers.
Or the need to keep it in your hand.
Right. But trying to, because it's, especially with time and it was the 90s, it's 89. It's like, girl, it's sometimes when we're on that cusp, I really think the the thing about it is the older I get, the more I think that the answer to life is to learn how, especially in key moments, how to pivot quickly and
Yes.
learning how to leave things behind. Truly. Like, if you're able to let the house burn down and just take your loved ones and a few belongings and run, you can keep going, baby. You can keep it going. You can find a way to keep going. It's the people that when the house starts to burn, that they start to clutch the curtains and go, no, no, no. It's like, you're going to go down with it.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah. Well, I think you're
We
getting
just are. I'm just like observing us and being like, the way this podcast is just like us in a rabbit hole, and then being like, where are we?
well, I do want to say though that if we're to talk about life lessons that you brought out here, that being able to pivot and to let things go, like this is something that, I don't know, the universe, the gods, source, whatever, has been teaching me
Right,
for a very, very long time that I've had to learn over and over again. I wish so much for you that you literally like listen to that for yourself in this very moment and the next, and hopefully
right,
only one more, because if I had gotten those lessons at your age, I would be way far ahead of where I am today. And not that I'm not, I'm very happy about
yeah.
who I am.
It's who you are as a wonderful person. I think God took his
I
time
don't
on
have a
you.
Maserati Quattroporte.
Yeah, but maybe if you did, you'd like die like you know,
Yeah, or
like
be
you
like
get it.
Tracy Ullman, right?
Or be like Tracy Ullman. Girl, this is the thing. This is why we're friends, though. Because I think, no, but it's true. It's that we are both very, like, we're, I think one of the greatest signs of spirituality in a person is not only the act of being able to reflect, but the willingness to
Hey everybody, I'm coming at you to let you know that I'm performing my show, Fever Dream TV, in New York City, in the month of April. Yeah, Fever Dream TV and NYC. I'm going to be doing 5 performances, at the Wild Project as part of the New York City Fringe. Those dates will be April 4th, April 11th, April 12th, April 16th, and April 17th. You can get tickets at frigid.nyc or the link in my bio. See you there.
Be wrong and to enter the unknown, to kind of
Mm-hmm.
walk into the darkness and say, like, okay, like, I'm not in control anymore. Where do you need me? You know? It's
Mm-hmm.
like I may be the director on set, but I am not the director in my life. I am
Mm-hmm.
often, it's often me kind of going, okay, my hands are off the wheel. Where do you
Mm-hmm.
need me? I will go.
Yeah.
How do you want me to use my voice? What am I here to do? And it's kind of answering that call of duty. Ew,
Mm-hmm.
not Call of Duty. Hate that shit.
But
The
didn't
fucking war
someone
game.
just get busted for being alive, for having gotten money to play Call of Duty?
Really? Dude, I,
This is
my
the
God, was it Cash
Epstein.
Patel? Was it
No,
Cash Patel?
this is Epstein stuff that now, the next thing, now I have to go like, am I going down the rabbit hole?
The
Like, they
Epstein
have
stuff?
things, supposedly he is actually alive in Israel, and there's like photos of a dude that looks like him and stuff, and then there's all these pictures are coming up on social media of him at the autopsy with like sweat on his brow and fully red flushed and kind of smiling almost as a dead man. And so now the many people are
Is this a
saying, uh,
conspiracy theory, Chad?
I don't know, because it's such a good one. And I'm like, oh my God, is this the reverse MAGA? And, like, what the
Right,
fuck? Where are
right.
we?
This is the truth,
So,
though.
yeah. So, anyway, I took the opportunity to get my little political jab in there.
Well, you what? So, like, they're saying he's in Israel, and
Yes,
he's
he is
fake. He fake.
alive. And yes, I don't know, but I mean, I guess he was part of faking his death, but if you're in a penitentiary, a federal penitentiary, you don't just fake your death and be like, and then I levitated out the front door and, you
Right.
know, caught a plane to Israel. Like, somebody helped you do it. And guess who was president at that point in time?
Donald
And
Trump.
guess who? Yeah, and Bill Barr was like, another one of those, this is over, stage left, things.
Yeah.
And so it just goes so freaking deep all the way
Bro,
around.
it's
That people should be
crazy. You know what's so okay?
wacko
You want to hear
crazy.
it? No, because you want to know
Huh?
what's so funny? I got to tell you
Good
this
job.
funny story. I was at a performance, so I had to do a performance, a showcase for my show tomorrow. Oh man, I'm there, and it was at the theater where I perform, and basically all the different kind of shows for the month, everybody does a little bit from their show to help advertise it. And then people from the community come to see, and they do the showcase. One of my friends is doing a solo show, and it's he's a radio host. He's amazing. So sweet, Lucas. Lucas goes up there and did not have anything prepared. And he starts riffing, like just starts talking. And then it becomes about Jeffrey Epstein. And he's just up there and he's describing the tent pole up Donald Trump's ass. It is, swear to God,
Yeah.
the what where he goes, he's incontinent. And he goes, yeah, Donald Trump is making stinkies in his diapers because somebody apparently, and I don't want to say this, grabbed a tent pole up his ass. By the way, community theater vibes. It's a 1 p.m. on a Sunday. I'm like
That's why
crying.
they don't want the trans folk talking to the children.
This is, it was like, it was because afterwards I'm talking to him and I'm going, he's like, how was it? And I was like, he goes, I should have had something prepared. And I go, honestly, it was great, but
Yeah, sounds like
maybe
it.
it went off the rails a little because then he just performed a song a cappella at the end. It was dynamite. I was living. I loved it. But just
That's funny.
imagine, because it's basically like this theater is like kind of like lesbian vibes, so it's very wholesome. I think Donald Trump getting a tent pole shoved up his ass to the point of that's why he's getting incontinent. I go, not you describing sexual violence on a Sunday at 1
You're like at the Third Street Episcopal Church, no less.
Like literally it was like I'm like you ever have that moment where you start to laugh because you're like observing this moment, like you're experiencing the moment and watching it in a way, like you're like here present, and then you're also being like, oh my God, this is just so crazy. And then I felt bad because then there's this girl who came up after and she had like a bunch of characters, but it was about a eulogy, but I couldn't get the memory out of him talking about the tent pole out of my head. So I just kept like, like almost like succumbing to laughter again as she's like describing this eulogy and this play. And I'm like, trying to like keep it together because I'm like, I don't want to like laugh at her acting, but I'm actually just unfortunately really stuck back there.
Mm-hmm.
It was great, but it is what you were saying is true that it kind of eclipses everything, and we should kind of all continue to talk about it because
We have
we
to.
need to. We have
It's a
to.
thing.
It's a
It's a thing
fucking
that develops. And what I find myself doing is I'm on, doom scrolling or whatever, and uh, on the toilet, or maybe that's like, in my bed when I get up in the morning.
You're like,
Um,
I have to put a setting to it. We know where people doom scroll. We believe.
just imagine me. But anyway, the don't. As I'm looking at this stuff. Oh, now I've lost my train of thought. There's that Alzheimer's
You're doom
sneaking in
scrolling.
on
You're
me.
doom scrolling about the Epstein.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So I mean, I just find, you find all this stuff, and I find myself being the one when I see some stuff that is like, whoa, what? Like I'm pretty quick to be like, all right, well, I better amplify from the left. Amplify
Right.
from the left. Like, like,
Right.
like, like, like. Oh, is that Susie? I always like her anyway. You know what I mean? I mean, this is war to me. I mean, like, not
Right.
in the sense of like, I'm gonna march outside with my 22, or anything like that. But
Mhm.
this is like, and certainly with the social media stuff now that he sold all of that to his friends. And I'm just like, well, whatever we can do to stand up to get things straight again. And part of what we can do maybe to do that is talk about our thoughts for these
Yeah.
2 episodes,
One
right?
more Wait, we're going to talk about the episodes because I love that. But I wanted to bring up a point, which is something really interesting about your generation and kind of a little bit end of boomers generation. Because my dad is like Gen X boomer, my mom's same, that cusp.
It's a mindset.
Is the progressives from your generation, from that generation, I think there really are people who take action and they're people who say stuff like you guys will get into it online. You will take it to Facebook. My dad is like, he is like legitimately tick by tick going, he was a Marine, right? But incredibly progressive. My dad was calling out fucking Netanyahu like years before I was awake to it. He was like, that guy is really, really bad. And I was like, and my mom, she's Jewish. So for her, it was a lot longer before she realized. And, it was like, he was always ahead, but he does the same things you do, which is like, it's like if he sees it, he does something. If he sees it, he says something. But I think it's interesting to think about how kind of progressivism, because our generation, And some of the millennial generation, some of the millennial generation, like, are truly like the ones who are the standing figures in
Yeah.
the leftist movement. You look at Hassan, right? So Hassan Abi, he's like the face of the left for leftists. He is a
Mhm.
streamer. He does Twitch. He has been calling out these issues for years. He's
Mhm.
a complete ally to the community, incredibly funny, really well read, and brave as hell. Like, brave as
Mhm.
fucking hell. It is.
Oh,
He has to, but it's just like where we all have to become more like this. It's crazy. You know that TikTok I told you about? That blew up? It's at 400,000 views now,
wow.
90,000 likes.
Dude. Wow.
So, but 90,000 of four, and there's so many comments, and people are, in their comments are saying, I'm proud of you. I wish I could be that way. They were like, the thing that keeps coming up that I was kind of like shocked by was they were like, wow, so eloquent. I'm like, you should be proud of yourself. And I go, well, I think in my head, what I thought was nice, or the thing that was a reminder, was that was a very casual moment. This was
Mhm.
something that me and you do all the time. We call each
Mhm.
other up and go, I just told this person what?
Yeah.
Because
Did you hear
yeah,
about my one today?
this is we're about to get to it. But the point
Oh,
is
well, this is a
that
different thing.
okay.
Oh my
But the point is, me and you, we both are speakers. We use our voice. We advocate for
yeah.
ourselves, and it is day to day. It is. We will tell you about yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have the time. We
Yeah.
have the words. We have the sentences, you know?
Yeah.
But,
Don't make me dress you down. You know what
right,
I mean? Like I would
right,
love to be friendly in this, but if you want to take it there, then let's go. You know?
right. You're not afraid of confrontation.
No.
Call out your friend. Didn't you tell me recently that you had to call out one of your like crazy conservative something or others? I forget who it was. It was some.
The neighbor, like, that I grew up with. I mean, I
Yes,
have to do
yes.
it all the time, but the neighbor that I grew up with, I love this woman. I loved this woman for since I was probably, 10 years old when they moved in, and she was just a young woman, her and her husband moving to the suburbs from Southie, and she posted this thing about the crazy liberals and I don't know if the crazy liberals and how was it that they can allow all of these, they're all good with all these illegals and they're not behind our president in our country. And I'm just like, what in the blazing fuck? I'm just like, I just, and that at the end, it's the call for prayer and peace and love. I'm
Right,
like, dude, you don't get to put that ideology out there with this ideology and square it. Like, like I'm
right.
like you. There's no way, like those two, one of these things is not like the other kind of thing.
It's the dissonance, though. It's the expression, though. I think this is what it is. It's cognitive dissonance on a bike. We're like,
Uh,
why are the two wheels?
we're gonna fight about that one now because just this morning I said somewhere to someone or in some format, somehow I said, like, we don't get to blame this on your cognitive dissonance anymore. This
Right,
is now, you know what I mean? It's like there was a while I was like, well, what you really don't understand is how this is the history and the law and the way it is. And I'm trying to be really nice explaining it to you because
yeah,
you're stupid,
right.
So I don't
You're,
know.
you're
I'm
true.
with
It's
it.
But I
You
think it's
know?
a multitude of things. I think we're talking about mass psychosis. Like we're dealing with
Mm-hmm.
mass psychosis, which means
Yep.
we have to invent. I don't even know if we need to send AI agents that are like little robots that deprogram people. That's the kind of thing that the future is going to have to hold. Otherwise,
Yeah.
everything's going to become complete Jonestown shit. It is a brand new problem that we've never witnessed. It is completely mass psychosis. It is also the thing with cognitive dissonance is it creates confusion. So when we look at the nastiness that has been created by Trump and these people, we have to understand that that is the projection of lies that they were told America already was. The reason they
Mm-hmm.
can't see a difference is because everything that's horrible now, they had already been told was somewhere else. They just weren't seeing it. And so now it's all coming and they see all this aggression and darkness, but they're like, oh, but those are the heroes. They feel the energy, but it comes across like a confirmation of the hidden beast in the jungle. And so they see these ice captures and these kidnappings. And instead of saying that's the side of evil, kidnapping innocent people, which is what's happening, what they see is there's the darkness. Finally, it's been hiding
Well,
from me for so long.
thank God for Marjorie Taylor Greene, because when this all wraps up, she's gonna have her like reprogramming school for all these
Is
people,
she really?
because you've been watching her, right? Huh?
You know what? That would be fucking a crazy arc for her. If she had a reprogramming school
Oh,
for these
it's
people,
already there. It's already there. It is already there.
she's,
Mega was a lie.
I know, but this is the thing though. If that's actually like, if she does that, I would be kind of cool with it. I'd be like, okay, girl, that's
I would be
something.
kind of cool with that. I would be kind of cool with, I mean, literally, she can like play a little flute and walk them all off a fucking cliff. I mean, I don't care what she does, as long as she plays this game for the long game now, because I'm like,
Right.
this is the longest blonde joke ever in history that now she comes out with, well, but what I didn't know was, I'm like,
So funny. The longest blonde joke. She's like, you guys. She's pointing to her hair. She's like, I didn't know. Blonde. I'm
yeah, yeah,
blonde.
like I said, she can get a
She
little
goes,
pipe and like,
look, the roots are natural.
so, hey, we should talk
Yeah, look
about
at
what
it.
we're talking,
So, okay,
you
so
know?
let's
I'm gonna let
moving.
you have the
So,
segue. The segue is to you.
okay. Segue. So we watched, do you want to talk? So are we thinking, I think we should do SNL first because it's kind of closer to what we've been talking about. And then we'll do
Yep.
Lisa because I think I'm really excited to get into Lisa and I think it'll be a wonderful bridge
Full
and
circle.
conversation. Yeah, exactly. So SNL, the mom confession. I think this shit was funny. I thought this was very funny.
I thought it was funny, but I thought it was funny in the way I watch Saturday Night Live now, or SNL.
Yeah.
Like, it was funny enough for me. I was like, okay, that's humor.
Yeah. I I thought the thing that made me laugh really hard was when she said, um, no, but and she said, the things that have been happening, nobody could have seen coming.
Yeah,
It's like the whole time I'm like kind of laughing, like I'm like, ah. And then when she did this, the facial expression, and she's it's kind of like I feel like for me, I'm very much like I'm holding tension when I'm like, because I come from it from like a comedian's perspective of being like, and then I'm like waiting for them to get me. I'm like, do you have you gotta have enough of that sparkle. And that shit sent me when she goes, her facial expression, and she's like, kind of looking around. She's like, nobody could have seen coming. I go,
Mm,
it's just like, I felt it was so real. It was,
yeah.
it was just so real.
That's what you expect to hear out of these people. That's what we hear. We hear out of these people is you
Right.
couldn't have done, and for my goddamn, pardon me, for my
No,
whole
no, no, it's
life,
fine.
I have experienced that on the regular. No, no, no. You probably shouldn't, you know, put those two jumper cables together like that. And people, well, if you knew more about cars, you know what I mean? I'm like, like seen this before, and I'm using that example versus the way that I see it in my life as a black man. It's like my buddy
Right.
Nick the other day tried to prove to me. I said that morality is objective and not subjective, and
Hmm.
we're texting in this little text off, and
Or did you say it's subjective, not objective?
I know I said objective and not subjective. And he says, I can't believe you'd say that to me. You know that everything is subjective. Blah, 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 blah. He goes off on me. He wants to come on with us at some point. Um, he goes off on me and he's like, see, I'm going to get on Chat GPT and I just want to see what Chat GPT has to say about the stupid shit you're saying. And all of a sudden he's like, well, it's saying that like, you're kind of right and stuff. And I'm like, because I think there's no there, if you give someone an inch, they'll take a mile on this concept. And that it's not like there's a black and white line when you kill somebody, like
Right.
morality has a line. And now we're like,
Okay.
well, kind of maybe a little
What's
bit.
okay, but what's interesting about that question or that point is that it's technically one of the greatest unresolved questions in all of philosophy. So neither you nor Nick were right or wrong. You were just both representing different sides of it. However, I would love, depending on how comfortable you are sharing more about how that conversation came up, because I think, you know, the subjective reality perspective that maybe he's adopting, it sounds like maybe was kind of more of a cop out for a self accountability. Is that a good reading of the
That's
situation?
that's all it ever is, right? Like come on, like, no, I wasn't there on time, but this is very subjective because we said we're going to meet in for dinner. You know what I mean?
Right.
And and our understanding is that fucking dinner is going to be between 5 and 6. I didn't
Right.
get there till 8 or whatever, but hey, let's continue because we'll be like, deep on something else. We do owe
No,
everybody the.
no, no, of course. But I think I would love also for you to just give us one more example of, because you're talking about the jumper cables and we're talking about this related to SNL, about how these people, or at least this character, right? This mom character is realizing that and saying and coming to terms and admitting, because it's a confession, that she's wrong about Trump. But even her
Yeah.
confession, and this is the comedic angle, is manipulative. It's self-effacing, or self-aggrandizing, I guess would be better. It's self-aggrandizing. She expects self-effacement from her family. She
Mm-hmm.
expects a perfect empathy and needs perfect environmental circumstance in order to be able
Which
to.
is which is everything they say they don't want. Listen to Charlie Kirk.
Right.
Like,
It's
right?
this.
Like,
It's the fragility thing that they go, you're
yeah,
so, you little snowflakes, you little snow, and go, okay, so are you ready to prove us that you're not a snowflake and admit being wrong? I think
yeah,
admitting you're wrong is the litmus test for so much. Can you be wrong?
yep, yep, yep. And apparently they cannot.
Most,
And I
most
mean,
can't. Yeah.
I mean, it's certainly not at a full force, like, base level. Like, there have been times when we've gone at it back and forth, and I've said, like, yes, I was being passive aggressive. That's who
Right.
I can be,
Right.
and stuff. And
Right.
and this is the big hang up with this stuff. My on the phone or texting with my friend April today, same thing. All of a sudden she's like, the left really needs, she's like, I'm finding out all of this stuff about the immigration, and the left really needs to be saying this louder and be more responsible about sharing this stuff with us. And I'm like, my Christmas, like, Lynn freaking Cheney
This
is
is the
having
thing, and
tea with Rachel
this is
Maddow saying,
this is why this SNL skit is so genius, because the
yep,
kids are us. They're
yep,
perfectly expressing that. That's the release valve, right? That's what makes this comedic set piece so cathartic. Is it captures the bullshit of it all. It captures the dad
mhm,
being so aloof that he's not even involved. It
yeah,
captures the mom who's weaponizing it and then forcing the kids. They all have to be quiet. Shh, shh. Oh, you're not gonna, if you even give one word, I'm gonna go see the Melania movie tonight. And she goes, and
yep,
my favorite
yep,
thing, the
yep.
thing I love is she goes, you want this to be real or not? You want this to
Yeah.
be real or not? It's great.
Yeah,
It's so funny because also I thought this was really clever and interesting for the podcast is when the dad says she gets a different internet, which is such a funny and kind of boomer way of expressing the algorithmic visual differences
I
between,
like the way they put that. Yeah,
because that's
yeah.
kind of what they're saying or getting at is
Well,
like,
she kind of does, right? They kind of do
right.
get it different, I mean, like,
We're all getting a different internet. We used to get on, like, internet used to be one thing, and now it's this thing that's like, it's like a shape shifting chameleon that's constantly kind of becoming the narcissist mirror, you know?
well, Nico, it's because
Narcissist.
there are alternative facts.
Right. Well, it's because there's
Mhm.
the alternative. It's because the algorithmic is adapted to constantly restructure. This is what I'm saying about you. You know the myth of Narcissus, right?
Do tell.
So
I
in
don't
the
know
myth of
what.
Narcissus, he sees his reflection. I think he
Oh,
gets
it's a
cursed by
book.
one of the gods. Yeah, in the Greek mythology.
I
He gets
think so.
cursed that when he sees his own reflection, he becomes so obsessed with it that he can't look away. And
Mhm.
when I've done shrooms before, I've had this too, where I would take shrooms and I get mirror locked. And I think that's what the algorithm is trying to do, is mirror lock us. It goes,
Mhm.
don't you see yourself? Isn't it so sexy? It's because the ego is so easy to seduce. It's
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
we're so base. And this is the thing I was saying earlier when we called before we were gonna when we were preparing for this call was this idea of like so often we want reality to be expressed in these complex nuances and in the poetry of the ways that we think and process. And when you really come down to it, it's like binary code. It's really just chemical imbalances in the brain. It's pure biology. We are still monkey lizard brain creatures hitting the lever
Mhm.
for the treat, you know?
Mhm. 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 The other, what I
So
did think was pretty funny about this episode was when, as she's telling these kids, don't say a word, I don't know faces, nothing like that. I thought the physicality of the four on the sofa there, just all kind of like, and like
yeah, the serving,
holding that, yeah. I thought
it's
that was pretty
the
good. Yeah,
loved the trans part. The trans part. She goes,
yeah.
I'm starting to believe that maybe they told us that trans people are a problem. And I'm beginning to wonder if what's the big deal. And I was like,
Yeah.
just really, I think to me, it's a lightning strike. Like SNL,
Mhm.
sometimes they hit it out of the park. And Ashley Padilla, who's a new member of the cast, is the actress who played the mom. And she's like, she has that old school SNL thing of where like
Mhm.
you can give her real fucking material. And this happens when they get a good cast member. It's like the gods start to rain down and better stuff comes through. And it's like, I really think that it's like, it's Vessel, and she's awesome. I think she's
Yeah.
truly great. So yeah, it was awesome. I really liked it. People were writing in the comments below the YouTube video that they were having these conversations with their family. And even the stuff about the internet and the different internet sounded like things that their parents had said, which I thought was very interesting and resonant. That it was so resonant was interesting.
Mhm. I like it. Well, I really also enjoyed Mr. Lisa Goes to Washington. And I enjoyed that less because of when it was done and more because of how it it hit. There's a certain naivete that we had at that time compared to what we have now. At the end of this, I guess I should really tell the story more than anything. Lisa wins this essay contest. She goes to Washington, and while she's there, she ends up having her local congressman meeting with, somebody with a bag of money, saying that they want to tear down or the deforest of their local national forest.
Right.
And then, there's a short one when they're like, when they actually get busted, and they're like, oh, we want to drill through, Lincoln's head or something, one of the presidents in South Dakota on Mount Rushmore's head for oil, right? And so it kind of made it so like that back then it was kind of like, just the bad guys and the bad politics and the good politics. And Lisa decides that, like, she's been sold out, and it ends up, they end up going, and she ends up rewriting her speech, and it's not all playful, nice, and lovely America. And she calls it a swamp. She says that
She
Washington.
calls it a swamp, and she says the fucking iconic fucking line, which is the best goddamn line. I rewatched this episode. I watched it over the weekend, rewatched it before we got on the call, and it's so fucking good. She says, "This is America, a one nation under the dollar with liberty and justice for none."
Mhm,
And
mhm.
and I go, "Damn." That is good. That's fire. And then there's the really funny line after that, which is then he calls up the president. He goes, "A little girl has lost faith in democracy." And there is a naivete. I think there's a naivete and there was a hope. And I was reading on these different Reddit forums about how people were feeling about it. And what people were saying was that this episode wouldn't exist today, not because it couldn't, but because it would be impossible for anybody who wasn't in a coma to feasibly imagine putting out that message now and thinking that it would be resonant. It's only
Mhm,
resonant in nostalgia because
mhm,
we know too much with the Epstein files, with the blatant corruption, with the billionaire plans, even the imagery of the bald eagle. When I was watching it and she goes, "Let me go out into nature to get inspired," and then the eagle lands on the branch and then just hits the post. I go, that's a really great visual gag. But it did also in my head go, I didn't forget about the eagle. We forget about the bald eagle. because it's not America, and its symbolism and its iconography has become such a swamp. It's truly, the antithesis of that ending. And I think there's a satire, there's a biting satire to it. Even the happy ending of it it's very tongue in cheek, recognizing that that's not really the case, but still wanting people to believe and hope.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think also there's her at that point in time in the show, it was a turning point for the character of Lisa when she became the voice of political reason and of a prescient voice ultimately in kind of cultural history,
Mhm.
there's a meme of her pointing, and I think she says this whole damn system is wrong. Yeah, the whole damn system is wrong. Yeah. There's a meme of Lisa that's from I don't know what, season 6 or something, and she's pointing and she says the whole damn system is wrong. I remember in 2016 to 2020 that meme was so significant. It had such a chokehold on us for my
I think
generation
I
because it do you
I
remember it?
think I recall that. I mean, they, yeah. I mean, I think like on T-shirts, kind of almost.
Yeah, exactly. It was about, but it was an expression. Like our generation, when you look at Gen Z, Lisa Simpson, that's who I would say is Gen Z. When you ask like what best represents Gen Z, I'd say Lisa Simpson. Now, it's again different based on conservative versus progressive, just like the conservatives and Gen Z are very different and twisted to the conservatives from the baby boomers who are kind of more calm but dark. It's
Hmm.
how those kind of political artifacts and how the psychosis deteriorates the brain depending on your relationship to technology and how long, you've been owning an iPhone. So which internet you have exactly is different,
Yes.
but I really like that episode. I like that it's a reminder to me about that the feeling we have of pride in her character is a pride we should have in ourselves every time we choose to be that person. You know?
What
It's
I
like,
really like about it is that for a minute in that innocence, it draws me to the basics of what I grew up with, and that's not I seeing that makes me feel like it's not truly that far away. If that message is still out there, that people like that you got that message, that people can see that message and understand that message through this particular media, or medium. I feel like, maybe, for as many days as I feel like it's all gone, and I'm moping around, just kind of, just in a funk. It makes me think, well, you know, there was this time when we could dare to be that innocent, at some level, knowing that there was some undercover current of bad things, but not to the extent that where we are today with the bad things, be it here or all over the world.
right.
There was, ISIS just hit a mosque in Pakistan over the weekend and killed like
No,
40 people. Yeah, killed like 40 people on their Friday night mass, and 140 or something like that were injured.
not where Raymond is it?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Wait, but
And
like in where he's living?
I think he said 14 kilometers away from his office. So he could have been there. Hayden could have been there. Anybody could have been there. Yeah. So
So
part
for
of our meeting
listeners of
today,
our pod, just to give some clarification, Raymond is the person who is our editor. And Chad's also kind of his assistant, and kind of a third triangle of Hullabaloo.
makes a
He
lot of
lives in
good shit happen.
Pakistan. He does, and he's an incredible person. You know that Kate said that she loves Raymond because she saw that he was one of the followers of the podcast. And she goes on Instagram and she goes, wow, I think he really, really cares and he really loves it. And he commented under it too. And the thing is with Kate, Kate doesn't miss anything. That girl, she's really good at getting right into it. She can kind of sift through everything and just go down the nose. And I was like, yeah, well, that's so sweet. We love Raymond. I'm so
Well,
glad he's okay, but that's so scary.
well, and for a minute, because Hayden wasn't on today, was works with Ray, and he was like, "Oh, he's out sick," and I'm like, is he sick, or is he hurt sick or something? I'm
Yeah.
what's he involved in this? And so yeah, I know these guys are just really they're sweethearts. I love them, and
Yeah, I know.
but yeah, so I mean, with all of this shit going on, it's nice every once in a while to be able to, you know, to 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 think back to when, and this is part of what we talked about when we got on today, when that all of this, it doesn't have to be this way. There is the moral ground. There is that, a place where everybody sees the moral ground. But,
Right.
instead we got a bunch of, what's it, Mr. Wilson on the Simpsons or whatever that,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just gonna
But it's
fuck it up for
but
everybody.
it's of course, but you know what? We can't let the darkest, most twisted and corrupt people represent the the reality for the rest of us. We don't have to accept that as truth. We
Mhm.
have gotten better. Me and you have gotten more responsible, and we've answered the call. The call
Yeah,
it's to all of us. When we see
yeah,
this darkness, you don't have to give in. You don't have to
yeah,
look at all of this nasty, filthy, disgusting, twisted shit and go, it's all over. No, it's not. They're
exactly.
disgusting. They corrupted their souls. They're going to have to pay for it. And that sucks for them. Have
Yeah,
fun rotting in hell or being reborn as a cockroach.
yeah,
May the
yeah.
surprise be ever in your favor, you losers. But for the rest of us, may this be a wake up call and a recognition that we have to award morality. We have
Yeah.
to reward community, support, empathy. My friend Lisa had this thing. She had a vision and a dream where she said that she believed the future of society would be one where we would all evolve towards empathy. And ever since she said it, it's always resonated with me as truth that she had really had a vision because
Mhm.
I really think that is the future. The future,
Yeah.
the sickness is because we have measuring sticks that are not measuring. They we believe the earth is flat in a way that capitalism
Careful,
has.
someone's gonna take that cut of you in 4
I
years.
know.
With their 33 million followers, he believes the earth is
It's
flat.
flat, just straight up. But I mean humanity, in a way, when I say we believe the earth is flat, what I mean is Magellan, right? Was it Magellan or Copernicus? Copernicus, who discovered round earth? Was it Copernicus? Was it Pythagoras? Is Py, okay. Yeah. So earliest, Eratosthenes, Magellan. Yeah. Okay. Hey.
Okay.
Honestly, okay, I was onto something. So
You're
point
good. I
is,
like some of this shit. I'm just I don't know. He's either got it in his mind, still because it wasn't that long ago, or whatever. Bravo.
So, okay, so Pythagoras, Magellan, right? There was a both the people had to get at the round earth for a while. I think we're chipping at the problem, which is that D is the recognition that our measuring sticks currently for the actual advancement of our society and selves have to be no longer attuned to just the individual and the individual myth, but have to be attuned to the collective. Right now, we saw Bad Bunny's Super Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is so much goddamn propaganda of like, look at this story of this person who was just working in a grocery store a little bit ago and now he's a superstar and look at what happens in 10 years. It's not look at what happens in 10 years. Bad Bunny is what he is because he has remained committed to his community. He's somebody who has refused to turn his back on his community just for the sake of a dollar. He
Mm-hmm.
continues to be there for the people that love and need him. And that it should be inspiring to all of us because that is the vision of the future, people. That
Yeah.
is what we need to be. We
Yeah.
need to challenge ourselves to continue to be better, to be responsible, diligent human beings, to be wrong, be willing to be wrong. Ask yourself, when somebody tells you you're wrong, are you able to receive it? If not, that's holding you back, babes.
Yeah.
You're on your tricycle. You have to get off your training wheels, you know?
And in the meantime, who wants to bring up a generation, the alpha generation that I love? Who wants to bring up
We don't
what
know
the gen?
you and your beeping, by the way. I'm like, Chad, you're beeping. Okay, I swear to God, there were about 47 sounds that just came through here. It was camera slap, like sweat, like camera, and then there was beeping, and
That
then there
was me
was
trying to.
ringing.
That was me trying to like silence this thing. I was like, oh, damn it, I didn't silence it, and now I'm taking screenshots of like the
It's like I
I
go,
mean. No, I'm just deleting screenshots and turning off the bell. But
okay,
anyway,
wait. So say what you were gonna say about Gen A.
I think that they are really, honestly, the true hope, and I think that's why there's so much fight right now. Is this the right realizes that we've empowered your generation, the millennials, and the alpha gens to know that does have a baseline. This is how I should say it to Nick. Morality does have a baseline where it is objective.
Right. This is genius. This is a really genius point. Elaborate on that. Say more.
Well, I mean, just like, there's like I said it earlier a little bit. I'm like, you know, killing somebody is wrong. And so to me, there's no true subjectivity to it, and you want to battle it out with, well, if you're killing somebody because they're going to kill you and all that shit, then
Okay,
fine,
edge
go down.
case. Okay, edge case. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, wherever your internet's focused. But bottom line is that we are at a place, at a turning point that I feel like where I feel like they're so afraid that so many people will get it that what is right and what is wrong. Now they're doing whatever they can to poison the well and make it so that no, it's subjective. There's the Kellyanne Conway, alternative facts and all this stuff,
Right.
and that allows them to do the things that they do.
Right.
With that,
So with
where
that, should
where
we give
how do
our
you want to
rating?
rank?
To rank them, that's interesting. I guess I'm gonna pick Mr. Lisa Goes to Washington over the SNL because I love the SNL skit and I think it's historical. Like, I think it's gonna last a really long time, but it's short. And
Hmm.
it doesn't, it's very, very specifically speaking to a very specific moment in time that will maybe become more resonant overall, but it's like a banger for now. It's like a true,
Yes.
like, mic drop on the moment. Whereas with Mr. Lisa Goes to Washington, um, I think it's an expression of an archetype. It's the expression of the man who goes against the king. Let me find that man who goes again, who speaks against the king. The king archetype. Let me see. Is it man? Vision and Union, the rebel. The rebel is the primary archetype that speaks against, disrupts, and challenges the king. Right. It's the revolutionary. So, yeah, this is the character of the who opposes the king. And so her choosing to literally lose the contest knowingly that she could win it, but choosing to give that up in order to speak the truth, I think is timeless. And so I have to pick that.
And in the end, she does get part of the hall as the kid who actually wins says he's going to split the prize. So again,
Does
there's
he
enough.
say, does he say he's going to split the prize with her?
Yeah, with I think with all of them,
Oh, wait, does he? I go,
for sure.
does he? I thought he doesn't. I thought he calls her out. Okay, Wikipedia. I thought he calls her out. Mr. Lisa Goes to Washington. Okay, let's see. Um, and okay, does what better if I think of restored and like commends her. No, he just commends her courage and honesty. And then I think doesn't Homer say, "Are you going to give her some of that prize money?" And he says, "Not, no chance." I think he goes out of his way and says, "I'm going to, like, I commend you for using your voice and wisdom," and then they give the check to him, I think.
Yeah, but I think then anyway, I just
Okay,
think that, my point is that there is enough for everyone. And
right.
that the scarcity part of this, by going down that path, that's what actually does lead to not everybody getting enough of what they want at the end of the day. That's kind of my take on that. But and I'll let you kind of search because I swear he's like, he's been sweating. But then the other element here, or the other thing that I'm supposed to be doing here, is saying where I, kind of rank these two. And
Mhm.
I think we picked a really good set of these two pieces of work, and I think they kind of complement each other. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
land
agree.
them both at the same place, because it's brought us, to where we are right now.
I think it's excellent. I think it was an amazing episode, and I think they were a perfect pairing. I really am grateful for your suggestion. When I brought the SNL idea, because I was like, this is such a small form of content, but I do think it's densely layered that it could be a really interesting foundation for conversation because I know we both are ostensibly politically outspoken. We want to be on the right side of history, but we've also said, how can we use media to do that? And
Hmm.
also to have those conversations and create those bridges. And I think this is awesome. I really love this episode.
Me
So
too.
I love you, from
I
all of
love
us.
you from yes, all of us here at Hullabaloo, or us here at Hullabaloo,
Yeah.
to our 33
From
million.
million listeners, from us to you, this is Hullabaloo. Love you.
Love you.
Peace out.